Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel. Yay, I'm back. Making videos again. It's been some time since I made videos and edits and shit because life has been kind of shitty. But alright, this is the video you guys been waiting for. You guys been waiting for this video for a very long time. Since the beginning. Well, so here we are. The Resident Evil 4 Remake review that you guys have been waiting for a while, and I've been mentioning it. So, I know you have a lot of questions. Chris, what do you think of the game? How do you think of the game? What's your opinions? Well, it's been now, as of Blade Runner, it's been now a week since the game is released, so the game is fairly new. At this stage, today is actually April 3rd, so the Mercenary is not out yet. Probably when this video will probably released, maybe the Mercenaries will be out, all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking I could delay the review for at least like another month, see how the game is and things simmer down. But heck, you know what? Do while the iron is hot, you know. So what's my opinion on the game? All right, so here we go. This is genuine opinion. This is not one else's opinion. No one's like forced me to say this stuff, but I'm gonna say it. This is by far one of the best remakes I have ever played. After playing this game a maximum of two times, this remake has been nothing but surprises in every single corner, and it's been evident in my streams. I streamed the game on hardcore difficulty, and even though because I love the original, I was like, why not? So I can tell you this, the remake is really, really good. I'll tell you guys why, the reason in a moment. So let's run back a bit about last year. I think it was last year, or 2 years ago. Well, after Resident Evil 3 Remake was released, there was a big rumor of RE4 Remake might come out in 2022 or 2023. There were big rumors saying that this game will come out in 2023, and I said, no, please, I don't want to remake of 4 because the 4th game is perfect, is excellent, and no, you cannot, catch lightning. You can't catch lightning in a jar again. You know what I'm saying? So I was very much against it. And then when the first trailer came in, I wasn't happy. I was pretty much pissed about it. And since the game was new gen only, and I was like thinking I was gonna miss out on this game. And then I found out later on it's gonna be on PS4, which I'm happy about that one, which I'm glad, and all that shit. I was still very much against the idea of RE4 Remake, because if you guys did not know, if you guys new to the channel, Resident Evil 4 is perhaps, or if not is the best Resident Evil game that I ever played. It is my #1 favorite Resident Evil game. It's my top favorite. It's the first one I played. I love it to death. Seeing a remake, to me, seems like as Capcom is just trying to just milking Resident Evil 4 to the gilt. They're milking the Resident Evil 4 to the gilt, and I felt they're gonna fuck up this remake like they did with number 3. Even though it's made by the same people who made Resident Evil 2, which I believe is one of the best remakes of all time, and I believe it is one of my favorites. Seeing 3 and how they fucked it up, and seeing now 4, and seeing like how Capcom is basically Resident Evil Village was just like a testing ground for Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it is just like how basically Resident Evil Village is basically piggy riding RE4 to many ways, in more ways than one. It's basically a big waste of time, to be honest. I'm gonna be real with you. So when it comes to RE4 Remake, I went in with this game with the lowest expectations. Then basically a week before the full game release, Capcom decided to, even though I knew because it was like different sources said that there's gonna be a demo coming out. And I was like, okay. I played the demo numerous times, and I said this in many videos that the demo is fantastic, and my worries for the game start to simmer down. Even though, there's a bit part of me saying don't get to the hype because, if I hope shit, It will not be cool. And I'm actually glad that I did not watch the third trailer. That was a perfect move for me, because if I watched that trailer, I think I wouldn't be as interested or as cool. But I didn't, and I've been avoiding. Like, I watched the Village trailers only. The first 2 trailers just dropped. The third trailer, I haven't watched it at all, and I'm avoiding it left and right. I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, I think that the game will not be hitting as good. It will be as good as I thought it would be, or as good as it is. Played the game, I had fun with it, and I can definitely say the game is fucking amazing. It is fantastic. Capcom did an amazing job. There's a ton of Easter eggs of the classic game in there. Like, I think this game will become more of a serious version. There's I thought as well. I thought like the remake would have more serious dialogue, no like B-movie fucking cheesy dialogue that the Resident Evil series is well known for, especially in the 4th game. But after playing the demo, and when Leon said we're going bingo, I was like, yup, the corny lines are here. The thing that made me like Resident Evil 4 in the first place, one of the things that makes me like the game, is there. And I'm glad they did, and majority of the lines, of the classic lines, are in the game. Like, but they're different parts. They went in different parts, so it was great. So that's what the whole game about that one. So that's one of the things about it. Now it's time for us to go through the review. Let's start with the story first. The story, compared to the original, it's still the same. 6 years after the events of Resident Evil 4, Leon is now, secret agent. Leon's a secret agent, is looking for the missing, president's daughter's been kidnapped, all that stuff. I like Leon's monologue of it. He does not monologue in the original. The monologue is different in this one. The monologue in the original version, he was monologuing what happened in Raccoon City, and after Raccoon City, what happened to Umbrella. In this one, Leon is monologuing what happened to him specifically in Resident Evil 2. And what happened is, well, after it, he was having training, and you see some snippets with Krauser and all that kind of stuff. It was great. And seeing how Leon was traumatized for what happened. Leon didn't feel traumatized what happened in the original, but in the 4th game, he did feel traumatized for what happened, in the events of Resident Evil 2. So they are in the remake, they built character. That builds up character for Leon. Leon in the original, he seems like, oh yeah, he's the cool badass hero with just cool moves. Leon here in the remake, his character's a little bit better, a little bit fleshed out, what happened, like the stuff that he saw and that affected him a lot in a lot of ways and everything. It's great. I love it. That built-in character, that's really great. And that stuff is something to say, like, so, and the character department, I think, in the remake is better than the original. Mostly, I would say, from 2 characters, Luis and Krauser. Capcom did them very well, mostly for Luis, because Luis did not do a lot of whole things in the original, even though he was a pretty cool side character and I like him. He has some cool ass lines. He has more involvement into the story than the original. And so is Krauser. Leon and Krauser, so Luis and Krauser have a lot of involvement into the game, which is amazing, and I love it. I love Luis's character. Luis's character is the same as in the original, but he's now on screen a lot more, which is really good. I really love that he's on screen a lot of times, and it's fucking amazing, and I love it. Krauser, like, the scenes with Krauser are pretty great, even though his voice acting is kind of but he's still pretty cool. I really like the set piece with Krauser, the boss with Krauser, pretty amazing, blah, 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 all that. It's awesome. Ashley, now this is a completely character, not complete, it's kind of a complete character change for Ashley. Instead of Ashley being this annoying dumb broad that doesn't do anything, Capcom made her likable. Surprisingly, yeah. For the first time ever, Ashley's being likable for the very first time. This is the first time. It's a history-making moment. And the AI with Ashley in Resident Evil 4 is dumb, retarded, and stupid. But here, it's way better. It's smart. When you shoot, she ducks. When she does give you distance from the enemies. It's so fucking good that they made her actually likable, and she has some good lines. Like, she's first with Leon sometimes. She said some like hilarious remarks about when she was bitten by the dog. She said, "Hey, I didn't know the dogs like me this much." There's some good lines here and there, And here's the thing: this game, Resident Evil 3 had shitty lines. Let's be real, it had shitty lines from Jill. But the other one, the lines were pretty good. The lines actually are pretty good in this game, Instead of like the crappy Resident Evil 3 with Jill Valentine, her lines would make me want to fucking kill myself. So, yeah, the lines are pretty good in this game. But most of the lines are kind of like, yeah, it's like the original, because the original lines are already perfect enough. So what the fuck, had to rewrite the new lines? There's some new lines for new characters, but majority like nice references. There's a lot of nice callbacks to the original, which is really great. Victorious Mendes is the same. Salazar's the same. Sadler didn't have too much screen time. I mean, it's like the original. He doesn't have that much screen time in the original. But in this one, they got a little less. But it's okay. I can like dig because Sadler's pretty damn cool in this one, and there's like a lot of stuff about it. Now, that's the character story. Not too much to say, but it's really great that the character department is a lot better. And Ada Wong as a character, she's still the same as in her original, even though her voice actress basically, the person who voice acted is her model. The model of Ada voiced her in the game, which she's not that great and it's kind of ass. Let's be real here, she's not that good as a voice actress. She got the face model, but not a good voice actress. We'll get to that in a moment, alright? We'll get that in a moment, because I'm going to talk about this in a bit of a moment, so in a separate panel. So, now let's get to the gameplay section of the game. The gameplay is fucking fantastic. And seeing how the gameplay is basically Resident Evil 2 but way better. They kept kind of like, but the game is pretty much a lot better. It's the same controls as like the Resident Evil 2 remake, so it's not much different. They added a parry system, this is actually the first time I'm appearing in this system. There's a stealth system as well. You can crouch, you can stealth kill people in this game. There's like so many ways you can observe the air. I mean, it's not like many ways. It's not Metal Gear Solid going around like doing some shit. But you can go around, stealth kill people. Zelda is there, parrying people, doing perfect parries. The knife system is very much aligns the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's not like the original Resident Evil 4, but like your knife is basically infinite and you can just basically go around the game with a knife. You have to repair it to the merchant. You have to keep repairing it, so you have to so the game is basically giving you, the game says, hey, either you can break away from the enemies or you can stab them and use defensive item. So knife definitely is a defensive item as well as a normal weapon. I treat it as a defense item like Resident Evil 2. So yeah, either break free or you can hit a knife. And the parries, there's some unique parries. Against the Chainsaw guy has a unique parry, against the Gyarados has a unique parry. You can parry basically every enemy in the game. And of course, perfect parries will result different in an outcome, but of course you have to do that. You have to prepare it, which some people might think is annoying, but I think it's pretty much good. I don't think it's too bad, really. I didn't like it at first, but I played the demo. But I got used to it. I got used to it pretty well. Now, next up is, speaking of the enemies. The enemies are a lot more aggressive in this one. You can't just stand in one position and go shoot up enemies, you kick them and knife them to death. You can't do that in this one. Majority of my tips of getting through the game, or my tips, did not work in the remake. So basically, you have to find new tips, there's new tricks to the game. There's a lot of the enemy Ganados are pretty aggressive. They literally surround you. They sometimes say, hey, we're behind you, like that. They say, hey, we're behind you. And sometimes they don't say it. They just completely being quiet. and out of nowhere they just grab you from behind. And there's so many instances I was like, holy shit, that scared the crap out of me. They kind of like, got me like, I was like, I never seen this enemy behind me. So it was really good. The game really allows you to stick and move every time. You can't sit in one position and just pop every enemy's head. You can't do that. So you can't do it. So you have to really go around and just get some distance, shoot some enemies, kick them, get some distance, shoot some enemies. So you gotta keep your distance, you gotta keep moving and shooting a lot. So that's one of the things about the game. And now speaking of the enemies, a lot of the enemies in this game, mostly stronger enemies like Salvador, Garrador, Regenerators. Some of them have a really good redesign as well. Bosses got redesigned greatly. Vitoris Mendez, even though the boss fight is pretty much is kind of the same as the original, but it's a little bit different. His design is a little bit different. His second form, Garrador looks more menacingly and more scary, looking more like Hannibal Lecter type looking. The Regenerators are much more deadlier than what their original counterpart. The original counterpart is kind of easy and kind of funny, but in the remake they're a bit more deadly and pain in the ass to deal with sometimes. The Salvadors are, of course, they kill you one hit kills. Of course, you can parry them. El Gigante, is much more interesting. The bosses are pretty interesting in the game. Some bosses are different. For example, like Ramon Salazar's boss fight is a bit different. There's a lot of ways you can go through. It's great. Now for another part of the segment is the treasures and key items. This is a really cool idea that I really like. In the original game, when you have a treasure that's combinable, you need a specific type of gem or jewel to fit into a treasure. In this game, you don't have to do that at all. You can fit any kind of jewel within it, and depending on the type of jewels will determine the price. For example, let's just say we have the Elgin mask. We got the green gem, the red gem, green, and purple gem to put them in there. Well, in the remake, I can put, for example, let's just say I put a sapphire, a ruby, and a blue, and a yellow diamond. Sometimes I get all yellow diamonds, or all rubies. Like, you can literally depending on the type of treasure, will depend on the price. There's like bonuses, for example, like 2 jewel bonuses, or trio bonuses, or duo bonuses. If you put like different types of like treasures, and the game like gives you like from left to right. From basically the left side is basically you got the first type of treasures, which are basically the cheap ones, not like too expensive, and then you have basically the middle, which is basically less more valuable. Then you got the right, which is the third one, which is the most valuable piece of gem or treasure. And of course, you got definitely the emeralds and the red berries. It's such a very good system that I think is really great. So you get basically these treasures from basically enemies, getting, from, of course, shooting up nests, bells. You find these. A lot of treasures from the original are there. It's really great. And I love the treasure system, how it's very much different from the original. It's really great, and I really do love the treasure system in this game. Now for the next thing to talk about is the merchant system, and how the merchant system is a lot better in the original than the remake. In the original and the remake, you can still, buy weapons, sell treasures, sell weapons, and upgrade them. They're really great, and I really like enjoying the system pretty well. And the spinels, for example, which was a common treasure to find in the original, and the remake now to serve a purpose, you can't sell them. You can actually trade them for items such as guns, herbs, gunpowder, treasure, and many other things. They're pretty good, and you obtain them for something called quests. If you guys remembered in the original how if you get 10 or more medallion shot in the village section of the game, you'll get a Punisher. now they expanded upon it, and there's a lot of quests you can do, and doing these quests will give you certain amount of spinels. Some missions require you to kill a certain strong enemy. Some missions require you to get specific items to sell to the merchant, so on and so forth. It's such a really good system that really, gives you things to do, as side content. It's pretty good, and I really like these side content. Then the next thing to talk about is the save feature. The save feature in this game is a bit different. Even though the typewriters in this game, you can still save the game, but they act as well as storage containers. If you guys remembered in the other Resident Evil games, all the Resident Evil RE engine games have sort of an item box. Well, Resident Evil Remake has the same thing. What you could do is you can store weapons and store first aid sprays for later usage. For example, if you don't want to sell your weapon and you want to keep it, you can just store it up and keep it maybe for later usage, maybe give a magnum or something like that. It's pretty great and amazing. Alongside that, in the inventory management is a lot better. There's actually a specific button you can press. You can press the left trigger, the left analog stick or left stick to auto sort. The game will auto sort the weapons and the healing items all together. It's a really unique system that I really like and enjoy. So if for those people who are OCDs, you can just press a button and everything will be great. There's actually a lot of benefits if you sort it perfectly, because you can switch up weapons pretty easily from the inventory. You can switch up knives and all that type of stuff. It's really great. And I really do like this system very much. Now, I believe the next thing I'm going to be talking about is one of the best things about the game: exploration. The exploration in this game in the layout of the game is fucking fantastic. I love the changing of it's literally the same area, but they put different places. They put different things in there. They change the area a little bit just to make it fresh and new. The village is exactly the same as the original. The only difference is a tunnel. But areas for example, areas like the cabin area is a little bit different. The castle's a little bit different, but darker. The island's a bit different here and there. The environments are fucking amazing, and there are of course there's some new enemy types, and stuff like the bull. Because of the enemies, there's some bull enemies and all that kind of stuff. The environments are amazing. The exploration is massive. Like chapter 4, for example. There's a lot of exploration. It's great. It's fantastic. I love exploring the areas in the game and how it's beautiful and construct. The puzzles, even though some of the puzzles are identical to some way, they try to revamp the puzzles. There are new ways to do them. So it's based on exactly like the original, but there's a lot of puzzles that are literally, it's the same puzzles, but there's difference. But they renew it for the remake, so it's not exactly the same puzzles, which is amazing. Which I really do love, that how they change things here and there. They add new things. They do more new stuff. It's not exactly a current copy paste game, but it's like Resident Evil 4. It's just a bit of just squeaky a little bit here and there. No, it's a full-fledged facelift. It's like a massive facelift. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I fucking love it. It's literally an amazing fucking game that I really enjoy, and I still enjoy to this day. The replay value is high, as basically any Resident Evil game. You can play the game on higher difficulty. When you beat the game, you get New Game Plus, so you can play the game again. There's not gonna be a lot of content yet, but hopefully in the upcoming future. I know this review will be kind of saying, oh, it's gonna be old, but I might do a second part of Resident Evil 4 Remake review for the side stuff as a video format, like this one. So that's gonna be that one. So it's gonna be great. So hopefully there's gonna be a lot more content. The game itself has so much of content. The parts are amazing. The game is pretty actiony, but it has some horror segments that kind of got me scared and kind of got me spooked. You know, got me a little bit spooked the first time playing the game, and I got scared though a little bit. So, but overall, like in conclusion, this is an amazing remake that I would recommend picking it up. And I know a lot of people saying, so does that mean that are you gonna stay becoming a Capcom fan? Yes, the answer is yes. I am still being a Capcom. I'm still playing with their games, still doing their stuff. It's fantastic. Now, of course, before I go, a little something to talk about here is the whole thing that happened pretty recently of like Ada Wong and her face mall and all that stuff. I might talk about this like in a separate video. I might just do that maybe, or different like stuff like that maybe, because I need to talk about this in much more details in the future. So I'm gonna do that as well. So yeah. Alright, overall, the game is fucking amazing. The remake is a game that you should pick it up, and it is a fucking blast. The game was a blast. The game kept me surprised. The game like did not go away from its original sources. They kept all the original sources, but kind of like add new things. They add new areas. They changed like, you know, some of like the places a little bit, so it's like different. It's new. It felt like new. It felt different. It's nice. They revamped the shooting range as well. They revamp it to make it more fun. I enjoy it. So it's really fucking good, and how the enemies are really great. The parasites are a lot stronger and all that kind of stuff. It's really great. But I can tell you this. Although, and this is just my own opinion to this, okay? This is just an add-on to just my opinion. As much as I love Resident Evil 4 Remake, I think it's just an amazing remake. I would not put it on the same pedestal as the original. I know I'm biased because I love the original, because the original was so unique and so different than other Resident Evil games that is the game that, like I said many times before, is the game that brought, you know, it brought a lot of eyes to the Resident Evil series more than ever. It started the third-person over-the-shoulder camera style of third-person shooting that we see in games after Resident Evil 4. All the games that adopted that type of third-person shooting. They have been a really, basically it changed gaming and it changed the Resident Evil series to make it what it is today. That's like the truth and nothing but the truth. But just because I said that I would rather I love the original way more than the remake, doesn't mean the remake is shit. The remake is amazing on its own thing. And I do believe Resident Evil 4 Remake stands on its own 2 feet to be like different from the original. That is to the point it's different from the original, which I fucking love. And I definitely do believe that as years go by, I will love the game even more, like I did with Resident Evil 2 Remake, or RE2 Remake. With time, I started loving the game even more. Resident Evil 4 Remake will be exactly the same. So Capcom, thank you for this remake, and hopefully Resident Evil Code Veronica next. That'll be the next project. So yeah, that's it guys. That's the end of the review. If I would put a rating, I'll give this game a 9.5 out of 10. Some of the voice acting is kinda but it's pretty alright, you know. It's pretty alright. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, I guess. The merch is pretty cool. If you want to add like a little extra thing, the merch is pretty cool. The spinel system's pretty different, and you can trade in stuff, which is great. I forgot to even mention that one, so yeah. Well, this is a little something I need to talk about. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about it maybe another like much more detail in the future, hopefully. But yeah, it's a 9.5 out of 10. Some of the voice acting is kind of the reason I half because the other half is kind of like some of the voice acting is kind of tiny bit lines are just kind of, but it's an amazing game. It's an amazing game. You go and buy it. Go and buy it. It's great. It's really good. Even on PS4, the game is it runs really well. I'm very glad it runs really well. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. What do you think about Resident Evil 4 Remake? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's okay? It's up to you. So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you like this review, give it a like, subscribe, and yeah, that's all I have to say. See ya.